cultures in the Bible where if you want success, you want prosperity, you would take your firstborn son or you would take your children and literally put them on a barbecue stand and roast them. So naona tukiongelea hii maneno ya jua, we can relate. It might even actually be spiritual because wow, the sun is literally roasting us, but I'm loving it. To be honest, truth be told, I am properly loving it. Why? Because I'm a desert girl. I grew up in the desert, just in the Kalahari desert. I know wazungu waliita Kalahari, nyinyi mnaijua kama Kalahari. I know it as a Kalahari desert, and that's how you pronounce that. I might not even be saying it right, but I know I'm saying it better than Kalahari. And one thing that I particularly find interesting this morning when I reflect on how far we have come as an African people is how these people would just come and discover the land, the mountains, and the rivers that people had been using. They come to your village and then they say, we have discovered it. Yani, you've been living there. That's the river where you fetch water. The river where girls get kidnapped to get married. The river where some people were doing bad manners. The river where people were bathing. The river where they were feeding their animals. And then some mzungu anatokea out of nowhere. And then they're just like, so we're going to call this Crystal River. And labda inaitwa Maimahio. And wanaita Crystal River. There's hot springs, crystal springs. The hot crystal springs with the accent, and the go. And then they say that they discovered it. And that's how we know it in the history books. So my challenge to you this beautiful Wednesday morning, go beyond what you were taught. Go beyond what you were educated because, oh my goodness, education prepares us for a capitalistic and an oppressive system. I'm not saying that education is bad. I myself have spent more than enough time in the institutions of higher learning, in the institutions of secondary education, primary education. Imagine wow, a lot of time. Do you understand? There is nothing wrong with being educated, but realize that the way some of our systems are set up very intentionally to keep us stuck in the rat race. Because why is it that we are not taught lucrative business skills? Why is it that we're not taught how to file our taxes? Why is it that we are barely taught how to apply for jobs, how to position ourselves for the job market? And most of what we are told is literally us being sold dreams, sandcastles being built in the air. And guys, we need to open our eyes. Wakenya tufungue macho. Africans, we need to open our eyes to the fact that we need to emancipate our systems. We need to emancipate our systems from colonial influence. And as much as we appreciate a lot of the good things that we got, a lot of those things keep us in the systems that enslave us so that we are forever in the rat race. Because for such a hardworking nation, for a nation that has so much natural resources, minerals, so much greenery, good farmland, exports, crops, and a hustler mentality. Yani, Kenyans are such hardworking people. It is a shame that a majority of us live in poverty. Hand to mouth. That is the truth of the situation, and lazima tuangalie hiyo maneno. So this wonderful morning, that is my challenge to you. December has finished. Sasa we are back to business, and January is upwards and forwards and more progressive, right? I told you guys that last week that is how we are moving. Na tunaenda mbio, hii mwaka ni mwaka ya kuaccelerate. Tunakimbia, we're not slowing down, we are moving. Kama kuna maneno inafaa kuadresiwa, we talk about it and we settle that already. And on that note, if you have something that you need to be telling me, something that you want to get off of your chest, something that you would like to have me discuss here on Sheversations on Power Radio, then holla at your girl at Caroline_Murote on Instagram, Caroline Murote on Facebook, at Caroline Murote on X, Twitter, and on TikTok. I am Carol Murote. That would be CAROL Murote. And you can also reach out to us on at Power Radio across all of the same social media platforms. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say. And I'm going to be giving out shout outs. I'm going to be giving out shout outs to the good humans who have decided to have conversations with us. But also, I would love to know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you are doing with your time. Are you working from home? Are you, a media practitioner like your girl? Are you somebody who's barely figured life out and you're just trying to keep it together? Let me know what the vibe is. And speaking about vibe, we have started off on a good note because we were serenaded and ushered into the show this morning by My Love, Stacey Kamatu. Tulikuwa tunaongelelea how wamama hawataki mapenzi, wanataka pesa. So yeah, Stacey Kamatu is like, buy my love already. And then we had Hansfear and Watenda really saying katika. So you need to katika right into the rest of this playlist because right about now we are going to play Utamu by Ochiko, Kelomax and Brandy Minor, followed by Disco by who's this? Kodong Klang. All right, already, and this is for you, my loves.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Tangu sisi wawili kujuana, tumependa kupendana, tumeonja utamu wa asali Don Corolero, wengine siwataki, ono, utamu huwa ndani ya moyo, wolololo, mambo moto, pakawasha moto yo, mambo yamechemka, nataka joto, analia, oyoyoyo, wamewasha moto yo, mambo yamechemka, wanalia joto, wanalia oyoyoyo, wanataka utamu, mina tafuta utamu, tafuta utamu. Only wishing the bed anyone yellow bed forever land maungeto. Ma wan go doni mi tadua kata bende obelde wiye kod mano donge doko sacrilege violation e kake gida gini gido na to gini yo kalongo longo gini nyakalondo while we here we are okay.
They don't like when I say I'm your lover. They want I say I'm your friend. But what a pity, want me try like an easy. You the only one in this kitty. Why is it kukulia? Anyway, wanitosha, I don't want somebody else. Siku waidha ni soda, ina utamu ingine. Ninywe kila saa, tamu ka asali. Utamu, wakawasha moto, mambo yamechemka, wanataka joto, wanalia, woyoyoyo, wamewasha moto.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Lando kwaro, abebo wangelero kwaro, iromo dendo ya wamayo, iromo pako ya wamayo, imi adhi ongora, ya wani mi ala ongora, tombogi rungu nyocho luisa, tomano kumarungu nyocho luisa, umine ukinyo, wachilavu wema sando ya kama, ukara chonyo, ni wachilavu miya mumo mudo kama, umina chibela, wachilavu wema sando ya kama uke ukara chwanyo ni wachilavu mia yoro mudo kama Original Dangla style. Yeah, East African time. Na wakaribisha ndani ya kodong. Usikute vitu bila kondom. Kuna champagne for the pain. Top player best in the game. Kelume, dance. Ongeza mavitu na makudade. Hakuna masanse, kuna masensi. Kukatana na kukata maji. Ukialikwa kwa wanati. Lazima makonking kong jabaranking.
Kaza. A drinks on the house, mazadi wamefika, watoto wenye class vile wanachachisha na tukilancheki vile kuna badilika, good vibration na kuna kasirika. Kina mina wamewasha kingdom, samina wana waka na kibong. Madoba za kodong clan wana sing along bila thong renderong kwa machom tuko zong. Big tune, big sound tunafinya kama sembe, mix ya dance solo hangla mulembe. Ngoma tamu sana zinacheza kwa mastenje, tuko disco tumepull up tuko genje. Yeah.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Welcome back. I hope you have heard the lovely sounds of that disco. That is Kodong Clan blessing us. And right before that, we had Tamu about Chico Kelomax and Brandy Minor. What's going on? What's happening? Wa Kenya bado tunaua wa mama. Femicide. Wacha niwasomee hapa. Arrest of murder suspect in Nairobi. Police in Huruma, Nairobi area on 21st, yani jana to the 21st of January 2025 at about 5 a.m. while on patrol within Kelly Towers area, arrested a male adult suspect carrying a bag on his back. And upon conducting search, found a bag stashed with body parts of a human being. Guess who this was? 29-year-old husband to his dismembered 19-year-old wife. First of all, why is a 19-year-old getting married? But tuachane na hiyo. Now she's married. Ndio, she has been dismembered. Yani, unambeba kama takataka. What is going on? That's not the only one. That's not the only one, guys. Because mnasema ati we are noisy, women, ama mlichoka na women empowerment, mkasema you don't want women to win in life, you're just going to wipe them out. So also we share the story of Beth Muthoni Wataku, a woman who went to pray at the Kimunyu shrine, found dead. And this is her story. She is was unfortunately, she's no more, a 44-year-old single mother from Kagumoini village in Gatundu South, sadly found dead on the 18th of January, that is about 4 days ago, at the Kimunyu shrine caves. She had gone missing after leaving home on January 16th to pray and fast, hoping for a change in her life. Her body was discovered with her head. She was decapitated. Her head stuck between the rocks, her jaw hurt, and there were signs of blunt force injuries. Nearby, empty bottles containing unknown liquids were found, indicating she might have been drugged. Before her death, she was also sexually assaulted. Sijui tuseme aje. I don't understand. I don't understand. So this sacred shrine in Kimunyu is typically known for prayer and worship and is now the focus of concern and questioning about the circumstances of her murder. Honestly, justice needs to be served in this country. We can only say so much. And are we going to be shocked when there's a whole, when women are anxious and paranoid? And I mean, God forbid. But will we be surprised to have women who don't trust men? Because this is a ripple effect. We've been screaming and crying about femicide since 2023. Last year in December, it was named a national crisis, the biggest crisis in this country. More than uchumi. Na tunajua uchumi imekuwa mbaya, even though we said we're looking at things positively and we're going to be intentional regardless of this. But I can't help but be angry. Because why are we still killing women? I want to sit here and talk about beautiful things. I want to sit here niongelele maudaku zingine. But sasa lazima atuwezi ignore. May their souls rest in peace. Atuwezi ignore. Beth Modhoni Watuku is no more. She's gone. She's gone. This is so frustrating, honestly. And as a woman, truly, where are we safe? In the words of Atwoli, in whose hands are we safe? In whose hands are we safe? So I want you to ask yourself, if you are a man who has women that he loves, because at this point, this is the only way we're going to reach out. What are you doing to protect the women in your life? Other than telling them, what are you doing to address this issue with other men? Men, are you having these conversations amongst yourselves? Are you telling your friends, please, if your girlfriend or your wife frustrates you, don't kill her. Just walk away. Walk away. You have so much more to gain. Just walk out, walk away, disappear. Take all the things in your house and go. Mkasirishe lakini usimuue. There is nothing that warrants women being killed at this rate. Guys, January 22 days into January. This lady went to pray and fast. Mwingine ako 19 years old. What has a 19-year-old experienced in life? Where we could say at least alikuwa amejaribu in life. At least alikuwa ameachieve. The things that her family probably, if she has a family, had a family, were excited about. And it's also surprising to me to hear that a 19-year-old anaweza kuwa amekufanyia, you decide to off her. How is this a solution? Honestly, you can't convince me that this is not demonic. And I know a lot of it has to do with the change in the economy. And give me a moment. Let me explain how. Let me explain my theory. Already, we have had a lot of aggression because before we started singing iwimbo ya femicide, it was GBV. Na bado hatujamaliza hiyo wimbo ya GBV. Lakini chorus imekuwa femicide. Unajua the part of the song that everybody knows? When you have played a song and the singers sing the whole song, lakini the whole stadium sings the chorus because that's the part that everybody knows. Sai chorus ni femicide. Lakini the rest of the song is gender-based violence. So there has been a lot of aggression towards women from men, and particularly men who know them, men that are close to them. Most of the time, it is men that are close to you. And then whatever it is that has happened to the economy has happened. Now it means that there's more tension. Now it means that because a lot of men are not having healthy conversations about how they're feeling, and a lot of the economic brunt of the changes that are going on traditionally fall on men, because Kenya is still a very cultural country. As modern as we want to define ourselves, we still work within very traditional, cultural, patriarchal systems, especially when it comes to how we view men and them being as providers. And this has been culturally accepted. Yes, these norms are being challenged, but typically this has been accepted across the board. And so you find that a big, huge part of this burden falls on men's shoulders to provide. And because they lack a safe space, kufungua roho kusema, hey, hii maisha imenilemea. I'm not making ends meet. I can't take care of my family. So anything that is an issue becomes an issue times 20. And if you were just drinking yourself and just being dead on the inside, you are just drinking yourself to being a dead man walking, now it's too much. Yani in overflow, the aggression in overflow. Same case with the women. You're taking care of the home. Saa kuna sabuni. Mafuta ya kupika inaisha kila siku. Like now you can't even buy 500 ml. You can't even buy a liter. Saa hii mnanunua tu ya leo na ya kesho. Alafu inaisha. And by the time this man, if that's your arrangement, brings something home, itabidi mkwe mmengangana for a while. Like, hey. And knowing that the oppressive systems that have raised us in this country, zimetufunza kunyamaza when we're struggling. So now imagine a man and a woman living in a very traditional patriarchal setup. Alafu sasa, typically they don't even address their problems because we know in our country we don't talk. We shout once in a while, but we don't like to confront issues. I dare say that as Kenyans, we don't like having difficult conversations. Hatutaki stress. Most people hataki maneno mingi. Most people are not comfortable sitting down and addressing an issue for 3 hours. Unaona msee anakustress. So now imagining that this is how we are set up socially when it comes to our communication. A normal household already has plenty of communication issues, plenty of emotional issues being repressed and suppressed. And then now you have these differences between the genders. For the past few years, tumekuwa tukiinua wa mama because of, the oppressive systems that we're coming from. Girl, child, women empowerment. And men are feeling like, I'm the one who does everything. Mbona tunamuinua and she doesn't even do anything. So already there has been that pent-up aggression, that pent-up frustration. Alafu sasa uchumi inakuja ina hit kila mtu at the same level and just magnifies the underlying issues. Alafu tuseme to those of us that believe in the supernatural, that a lot of these systems, there's just so much going on spiritually. Call me a conspiracy theorist, call me crazy, I'm saying my own things. Like, now some of these things have patterns. Because there's no way women are just dying. Somebody somewhere is benefiting. And that's evil. That is wickedness. And in summary, it is demonic. Because these are not the same family members killing the same group of people. No, this is something that has become a trend. And who is teaching men to kill women? How is it all of a sudden men cannot handle their anger? Yes, I know that I've explained that this is probably something that has been built up in so many negative situations. But why now? And sometimes when we can't explain things in the physical, we need to look beyond. Personally, I'm a very spiritual person and I like to challenge people to look beyond. These things are not isolated. They're not just happening. Like now when we come back to culture, we come back to society. What are we doing? What conversations are we having? Here on Sheversations, we have conversations that amplify the female voices. But what are you doing? What kind of conversations are you having in your home? What kind of conversations are you having in your churches, in your mosques, in your temples? What kind of conversations are you having in your places of work about femicide? Because are you waiting for you and your sister, your mother, your friend, your cousin to be the next person? This is a serious crisis. It's not just for the bereaved. It's not just for the ones that have already lost their loved ones. This is an issue that needs to concern you very seriously as a Kenyan. And if you're not taking this matter seriously so that we can come together and put in collective efforts, kama wananchi, as organizations, as institutions, as the government, then there is a serious problem and we're just going to finish ourselves off. Haya. So nimemalizana na hayo maneno because honestly, this is quite frustrating. And yani tumeongelea hii until. But anyways, on to an interesting piece of news. Pale Nairobi Gossip Club. Kama unataka kuona a 5-legged cow, Ingia pale kwa post yao ya 2 hours ago. The time is 11:33. So post yao ya around 9 something past 9. Utaenda pale and then you're able to see a 5-legged cow. Yani ng'ombe iko na mguu on the back. They said you need to be strong and then the cow said, yeah, okay. I took that personally. Alafu hapo tuko na post ya Corazon Kwamboka, Kenyan socialite. Mwenye anasema, there is no exercise for flat tummy specifically. No tea, hey, msidanganyo kuinje because wow, watu wa kunywa slimming tea. No belt, no magic, just work out and eat right. Your body will respond. Stop looking for shortcuts. Even ndio amesema. And ukienda pale Nairobi Gossip Club, tampata hapo, she has a beautiful 6-pack, quite a toned body. She's a curvy mama, blessed by the Most High. Alafu turudi tena because we don't like women. Do we like women? Hiya. So this is a lady who posted on her story that she got harassed. This is what she says. I got harassed by a police officer in civilian clothing today. He told me to sit on the ground, searched me, and found nothing. Yani, mimi unanipata walking, minding my business. In my country, my homeland, that my ancestors shed blood for. This Kenya of mine. Yani mali imeandikwa Kenyan pale kwa ID. And then you make me sit on the ground. For no reason, you're not explaining. Hiya. He told me to sit on the ground, searched me and found nothing. He claimed he's been monitoring me for a while. I showed him my Instagram profile and he asked why I was filming videos without getting permission from the owners. She was taking photos of cars and she explained that some of them don't mind. And then he said he never wanted to see me standing there again. Swali yangu ni, you can't have that conversation standing? Our power systems are so toxic. Na tujiulize, where did we learn this? Is this how our ancestors used to behave? Before wakoloni wakuje, is this how we used to treat the elderly, the ones in authority, the ones who had power? This level of humiliation, is this truly ours? Or is this some toxicity that we have taken and learned from other places? You tell me, because ni kama tunakuanga tumezoea. Tunakuanga tumezoea hii maneno. So anyways, that's what's happening. Mimi clearly maneno ya femicide haijanifurahisha. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think the issue is. What's actually going on? Do you think it's something spiritual? Do you think it's a social thing? Do you think it's because of the economy? Let me know what you think. So right about now, we are jumping into our friend Fena Gitu and Okelo Max. Fena Gitu and Okelo Max, Pogna Matin, and then Wanjina is going to give us Kirorerwa. Enjoy.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Hey, unakam, niko na visa, niko kwa simu na nasikia bashi meshika. Je, kuna madem, kuna maniga, maodine wamekuja kuchachisha. Sitaki picha kubabae, sitaki vita, nashikisha na mavela mabichwa, na tukishikwa jo mapel Mona Lisa. Tutoke BND, twende BNB, niko DND, usijam, I will be RB, I will be RB.
Mihadarati zishaanza kunidanganya hadi najishuku sana, zimelipu zimenichanganya napenda vitu si ufanya vile inafaa. Erupog na matin. Eyonaka. Erupog na matin. Abiro kikomando kiritala jumini kona mado wenye vipindi na musonge kando esima tu sama poso chopo chololo chololo. Nobody can party like we do. Wamoke girumba ko kwarawe blues. Kinena kalingi kipani ya sim. Meditation yaka bed ni soya design bololo. Anebo che bololo. So please no okadwa jo machendo oh bololo. Anebo che bololo. So please no okadwa jo machendo oh. Mi hadara decisions akunidanganya hadi najishuku sana. Zimelipu zimenichanganya napenda vitu si ufanya.
Miadarati zishaanza kunidanganya hadi najishuku sana. Zimelimbu Maximus
Ognamatin
hey and na
Hold on
yeah DNB Nico DND
Mutoto ya Pamela.
I'll be right back. Tell him I'll be woo.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Gaya kubiri naida weka ire tuwe moyo kera gesiga yeah. And my love for you it runs deeper. So I write this birthday song for you. Kaire tugada ka beautiful Meta watama miwito Takupa dola na euro Tomesha toda ka simple Just for you love Kaire tuwe beautiful Meta watama miwito Takupa dola na euro Tomesha toda ka simple Just for you love Kaire tuwe quiero Kage nakaja Nalero lalera Bobo dudera Nadoka lalera Oko hangera Kaire tugada ka beautiful Make it do what I do it Mapenzi tele for you love Girl you are one in a trillion A gazillion Kaire tuwe beautiful Make it do what I do it Mapenzi tele for you love Girl you are one in a trillion A gazillion Get it to that
sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Lazima watu watumaliza hivi. What is the reason? What is the reason? Wajine. Shida iko wapi? Shida iko wapi, please? Because why? Why do you make such beautiful music? For your daughter? Man, fathers in this country, you see what other fathers are doing for their daughters. Mkue serious, by the way. If you have a princess in your life, this is the music you need to be either making or playing for her. Okay? If you can't make beautiful music like this, then this is the music you need to be playing for your beautiful, beautiful daughters. So in case you don't understand, I lugha ya watu wa Murema, you are beautiful. Yani Kerora is something, yani, like, it's good to look at. It's a sight to behold. Yani, I want to keep looking at this beautiful thing because wow. So that's, in short, is him telling his daughter that she's beautiful. And so he composed a song for his daughter. And nasikia tu, oh, I'm just like, oh, honestly, I was almost shedding a tear. The song just makes me feel, Right before that, we had Pog number 10, Finna Get You and Okello Max. And Okello Max giving those lakeside vibes because that voice. The day I meet Okello Max, he must explain to me, why do you sound so good? Because every time I hear this man's vocals on a song, it does to me something. It's on an emotional level, guys. Deep down inside, let me tell you, I am disturbed. Like something shifts and I'm not okay. Truly, this is a true story. E-message, imaneno ifikia Okello Max, sir, you're the one. You're doing the thing and the thing is doing correctly. Yani uko too correct, okay? Already. So what are we doing today? If you are a regular here on Sheversations, and you already know that Wednesday is the day when we give a super, super shout out to our babes that are doing awesome things, our babes in the studio who be cooking up the best, the dopest, the hottest music. And today we are celebrating a particular young lady that's kind of new in the scene, and her name is Zaituni Wamboi. Hey, mkona jina kama hizo ama mnaitwa tu Njeri na Njoki, na Njabi. Huyu hapa anaitwa Zaituni. Zaituni, guys. Zaituni Wamboi. Hiyo Wamboi inamu-expose because sawa Wamboi wanakuanga wanaitwa Ann Wamboi, Priscilla Wamboi, Priska Wamboi. Alafu yu anaitwa Zaituni. This is what parents need to be doing, okay? If you plan on having babies, ama ukijipata tu, oops, because you did the doinky, and sa umejipata na mtoto, please give them beautiful names like Zaituni. Yes? Already. Okay, so let's see what we have here. She is a singer. She's a songstress. She is, and she is, honestly, I watched her in December performing live. Seriously explain, guys. It was such a moving performance, and I'm not exaggerating. Yani, a crowd stopper. Like, do you understand? Somebody who understands what the talent is for, and she has sharpened it, and I can't wait to see. Because she has just gotten started. I can't wait to see. Yeah, so she is recognized as a pioneer of the urban tarab genre. Urban tarab. Yani, tarab, the Swahili sound, but urban. You know, she says it's giving modern vibes. It's giving Swahili, but cool. It's giving Swahili, but up to date. It's giving Swahili, but cool. Sindio. And so basically this is tarab music with contemporary urban sounds. And truly, you need to be running right now to Spotify and look for Zaituni Wamboi's music because wow. A little bit about her. She has been passionate about music since she was really, really young. And she got inspiration from B. Malika, Beyonce, Sanaipe Tande, and these different musical influences, actually inspired and shaped her musical style. which is a fusion of Tarab rhythms as well as modern urban beats. Because imagine listening to Beyonce and listening to Sanai Tande, the amount and level of soul. Also authenticity, because wow, I love how she keeps it Kenyan. And I'm not saying Kenyan is just, the Swahili music, but you can't deny the fact that this lady is authentically Kenyan. She creates what I would like to call a Kenyan sound. And I know we still haven't figured out what a Kenyan sound is, because weye mi nimekata genge ikwe the Kenyan sound. As a sound, it sounds beautiful. Like in my lyrics, Jo, we, yani nachokanga. Like imagine, I'm not a hater. I'm gonna give props to Genge and Abatone because the beats are fire. The rhythm is fire. The flow is fire. The creativity is fire. Like the content is trash 98% of the time. And so I'm not interested because I'm quality over quantity. I'm a substance girl. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's normally my issue with people saying that the most original music in Kenya is Gengeton, because, hey, like, Basi, we are living a struggle life, guys. And if you're a Genge artist, represent. Pour in your passion into your craft and say something that matters. Say something that is going to change lives for the better. And I'm not saying we can't have party music, but hey, lazima we be glorifying sex and drugs and women and booty all the time. It's not giving. It's not interesting. Let's be honest. I know this is not a popular message, but imagine, no. It's because yani tuko na mashida, tunataka tu kulewa and to forget our problems. And truth be told, you're not coping. If that's how you get down, you're not coping. Honestly, you're not coping. If all you want to do is party and drink, you're truly not coping. And it's very, very, very sad. But getting back to our woman crush for today, our woman crush Wednesday, Miss Zaituni. She had her debut track, Utaweza. She released it in 2020. And she marked a beautiful entry into Kenya's music scene. And she followed that up banger after banger with Ananipenda. And oh my goodness, a fan favorite, particularly my favorite, because she played the song, I'm Gonna Tell You Where. I'm Gonna Tell You Where. And in 2022, she participated in the Tasker Nexus competition, where she emerged as a first runner-up. And she delivered a captivating performance at Oktoberfest. So she is not here to play. She is here to stay. All right, already, Ms. Zaituni. And moving on with her musical journey, she released Champe, which features TK, Leon, Lexi, and Nadia Mukami. Same year, 2022, when she performed in Oktoberfest. And then she also released Nipende last year, 2023. Hey, last year, Joe, was 2024. Forgive me. Some of my systems need to update. Servers bado ziko kama zile za elections hazifunguki already. So Nipende was released in 2023. And then Tamu in 2024. And then the latter was a part of her upcoming project titled A Labor of Love. Truly, her music is a labor of love. And the most interesting thing is that she had her boo on stage. Again, I'm going to tell you where she performed in December. She had her boo on stage and he was the guitarist. And man, oh man, I was like, this is a typical Romeo and Juliet. This is the stuff that romance movies are made of. Because why do you sound so good? Why is there such a handsome man with such beautiful dreadlocks playing so beautifully, looking at you like you're his oxygen? I was so disgusted in the most beautiful way. Have you ever seen Love and you're like, it's so sweet. Yani, it's just so much sugar and beauty, and you're just like, overload. Like, guys, forgive us. We need to breathe. It was the most beautiful representation of love. Yeah, so, but just like a quick run across her discography, we have Tamu in 2024, which is basically a song that showcases her evolving sound and her artistic growth. We have Nipende, a track that solidifies her presence in the Kenyan music industry, because that's how we were going. That's 2023. And then 2022, Champe, which was a collaboration of notable artists, and honestly reflects her versatility as well as her willingness to experiment with different musical styles. Zaituni is a lady and a woman who knows exactly what she wants, and she is not afraid to put it out there. She lays it all down on the track, and oh my goodness, do we not love it already? So a few performances and collaborations that she has partaken in. She has been actively involved in the live performances since, including appearances at Palette Cafe in Girgir, Nairobi. And then she gave a beautiful performance last year. This is the event that I was telling you at the Slam Africa Women's Slam. Women You Should Know Slam that happened last year in December, themed, was it December or late November? It happened last year. Just know that it's last year. And it was themed against gender-based violence. She also collaborated with other artists such as African Vic on Kichizi, which we're going to hear a bit later on the show, and Kimba Sachs on the I Surrender. So already that is a woman with a beautiful and wide repertoire, somebody who understands what the audience needs, even if the audience themselves do not know. Hey, if all you have in your system is Gengetone, you need to cleanse that palette with Miss Zaituni Wamboi. And on that note, we are getting into a couple of her tracks. Hey, tunaanza with the sweet ones, the sweet kind, because she is like honey. So we are gonna kick it off with Tamu, and then we are moving on with Kichizi. So that one features Waithaka as well as African Vic. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Zaituni Wamboi.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Nimependwa nikapendeka, wanasema nimerogwa, sina noma. Ananifaa mimi, ananipea mahaba kwa wingi, hanipimi, ananipea yote, kashaamua kunipenda msimu yote, yeah. Naamini ashapata ubavu wake, na ni mimi hapa ndugu. Tamu sana mapenzi, tamu sana, tamu sana mapenzi, tamu sana mapenzi, tamu sana, ni tamu sana, ni tamu. Ninamjua, ananijua, ananielewa zaidi, ananijua, na nikinuna ananituliza, ananibembeleza, roho inatulia, ananiamini, ninamwamini, hatuna siri, twaenda na shilingi kwa ya pili, na sio siri, kupendwa raha kwanza na wewe, kupendwa tena sana, inadonjo tu vibaya. Amini usiamini, ni hapa sitawahi penda mwingine. Nikiwa na yeye haunipati, na nikiwa na yeye haumpati, na nikiwa na yeye it's a party, nikiwa na yeye hakutaki, na nikiwa na yeye sikutaki, yeah. Tamu sana mapenzi, tamu sana.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Nishikilie, I am falling in love, and I don't know what to do. ananifanya mimi fala. Kichizi nampenda penda kichizi.
I just loud and clear. Bila mimi na feel what we una feel. Vile unafanya vitu unafanya, you got a hold on me. Nasi banduki, and if you want just use me. Use me mama.
Vile anavonichanganya, sina uwezo wa kumkata, ananifanya mimi fala. Ay mama, vile anavonichanganya, sina uwezo wa kumkata, ananifanya mimi fala. Nampenda penda kichizi. Nampenda penda kichizi.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
When I was 15, you were 17. I was your everything. No one could tell us nothing. We were both high on this love thing. We broke the rules, we set the bars high. When I was 24, I said I do to the love of my life. And though we didn't have much, we had each other, and that was enough. I found the one and he found me. We got it love a little bit strongly. And he was mine alone. I knew I'd never ever be alone. But now the glass slipper doesn't fit no more into your lovely eyes. And now my head doesn't fall to the ground to pick you up when I
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
When I was 35, you were 37, and the children were heaven. We started drifting apart, coming home with receipts of hotels and motels and a cocoa night. When I was 45, you were 47, and you were spreading your wings. She is 24, living in a house that you paid for. What the hell do you take me for? Because the glass slipper doesn't fit no more into your lovely eye. And now my head doesn't fall to the ground to pick you up when you were down. Nipende vile vile ulinipenda zama, usiniache mimi pweke. Nipende vile vile ulinipenda zama, usiniache mimi pweke. Nipende mimi kama zama. Nipende mimi kama zama.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Our radio.
Is it me? Is it me or was that beautiful? Guys, you would be a hater if that is not some of the most beautiful music that you have listened to today. And I'm the one. I told you, you are safe in my hands. You are in good hands when it comes to this playlist. That was, oh my goodness, that was Nipende, Zaituni Wamboy. Right before that, we had Zaituni featuring Waithaka and African Vic for Kichizi. Right before that, we had Tamu. And yes is all we have to say to how good this woman's music is already. Wow, guys. What are you guys doing with your lives? I know I asked you guys for a whole 4 or 5 months of last year, but yeah, what are you doing with your talent? Like, if you were to send me a sample of what you have been achieving that sounds this beautiful, regardless of what it is, like something that you're creating, something that you've co-created, something that was inspired by you. Nini is a plate of food, guys. Food is so artistic. The way it tastes, that's like one art form I never want to lose touch of. Chakula. Have you ever had somebody prepare for you a plate of food that looks so good that you don't want to eat it? Have you ever gone to a hotel? Yani ukasaviwa chakula zinaka a piece of art to the point where as much as you want to eat it, yani unasikia vibaya ruining the way it looks, and then it tastes even better. That is exactly how I feel about Zaituni's music. It's beautiful inside and out, and you should see her performing at stage. Again, I told you that I watched her live performing at the Women You Should Know Women's Slam at the end of last year in Alliance Française, and oh my goodness. Hey, speaking of Alliance Française, were you guys forced to study French, Kama Mimi? Niliambiwa I should study French so that I can go and work for the UN. To Copper Power Radio, close enough. To Kobano neighborhood. It's an organization. It's making a lot of change for the community. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like nyinyi wenye mlisoma French kabisa. Sa meshafika France. Bonjour. Comment ça va? We have a conversation? Huh? Because je what? Before I start lying, je parlais alors français. I speak French. I speak. Nyinyi wengine mnajua tu oui. So when you wanna claim mnajua Kifaransa, mtume voice note. Y'all have my DMs. Caroline at Caroline_Murote on Instagram. Mnitumie hizo voice notes niwasikie mkiongea whichever language. Na nyinyi watu wa German. Hizo vitu zimewafikisha wapi? Genuinely, I want to know. Like, I'm not even trolling anybody. Because I know, for example, a lot of South Africans who studied Chinese are actually teaching English in China. Wengine who studied Korean are actually teaching English in Korea. And because of the exchange rate, they're doing quite well for themselves. Lakini mimi nipelekwa huko is a lie. Live and die in Africa. Guys, in the sweet words of Yemi Alade and Sauti Sol, I will live and die in Africa. Uko kwingine, you visit and then you come back home because truly, there's no place like home. Do you understand? There's truly no place like home. And speaking of home, we are doing everything we can here on Sheversations, here on Power Radio. You know, as we tune in and power up, we are being intentional to just walk in a powerful way. And today we are having a conversation about education. We've been talking about what it means to educate a woman. It is to educate the nation. Feeding a woman, you feed the nation. We've already gone through this. If you're new here on the syllabus, you better catch up. Class is in session. Today we're talking about barriers to girls' education in rural Kenya. Yani mashinani, what's going on? What's actually happening when it comes to education? We've had enough examples in past conversations here on Sheversations where we said that there's an issue because of the situation that we find women facing in rural spaces does not really allow them to succeed because they're not encouraged to pursue their education because of the socioeconomic situation. It is more economically lucrative, or so it seems. So people seem to think, to marry a daughter off or to have her take care of the home as opposed to sending her out to educate her. A lot of societies in rural Kenya actually deem educating a girl as a waste of money, even though there is a lot of people that are actually changing these narratives. But we still have quite a troublesome amount of stories. Just a whole bunch of stories that we don't need to be hearing about how girls are not being educated, about how 19-year-olds are being married off to men who will eventually cut them up and carry them in bags, like the story that we shared earlier on this show. And to be frank, I don't want to hear any of it. But today we're going to discuss and we're going to look into some solutions and what can we do. On our last show, we spoke about the health situation and what women can do to take charge of their health in 2025. Today we're looking at education and we are going to be extremely intentional to be walking through this conversations in a way that allows you to give us feedback, allows you to participate and be a part of the conversation once more. In case you don't already know, you can reach out and give me the feedback that you have with regards to the topic of the day on our social media platforms. That would be a Power Radio across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Already, you can find me on Instagram at Caroline_Murote. On X, I am at Caroline Murote. On Facebook, I'm just Caroline Murote. And on TikTok, I am Carol Murote, at Carol Murote. That is CAROL Murote to you. So I can't wait to hear from you. Earlier in the show, I have challenged you to let me know what you think needs to be done about this femicide situation. What what kind of conversations we need to be having with regards to this matters femicide, and what can we do as a society, if you feel powerless and you feel like you're not in an influential enough situation in an institution that could make a difference, what can you do as individuals in your small spaces in society? I cannot wait for your DMs, and I would also love feedback on what is going on in your mind when you hear about the different barriers that we have with regards to girls' education in rural Kenya. So let's get into the first few things. We have cultural and societal norms, and we need to be flipping the script in this particular area. This is a problem. The problem is that there are very deep-rooted beliefs that girls belong in the home and not in the classroom. Again, this is ill-advised. It comes from a deeply patriarchal misconception of the value of women, that women are just there to cater to everybody's needs. There's a difference between women being there to cater solely to cater to other people's needs versus women being there to nurture. There is a huge difference, because when we acknowledge women as nurturers, we honor them. I told you last year, I told you last week, I told you that Mosadi Ketaria Sichaba. I told you that is a Setswana saying. It's a Setswana idiom, a Setswana proverb that says that a woman is the backbone of society. And tari is a goat skin, an animal skin that traditionally women used as a cloth to carry babies on their back. Okay? And so this saying is saying that this particular cloth is who women are. This cloth represents the value of women in that you carry what is important. You nurture people until a certain point. Do you understand? So there is a difference between women being nurturers. I fully agree with that, and we're not going to fight about it. It's okay if you don't agree. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. However, me and the rest of my sisters in this country, in this continent, in this planet, existing solely to cater to the needs of others, that is completely ill-advised, and that is what is informing beliefs such as girls belong in the home and not the classroom. Women are better suited to educate effectively because they know how to connect with everybody on their level. Women understand how to connect with children. They understand how to connect with teenagers. They know how to connect with fellow adult women and adult men. They do that much, much better than men would. Truth be told, we have grown up in these societies, patriarchal or not, and we have seen that this is the case, that women are generally more nurturing. So if you educate a woman, you have educated the whole nation. Already, what needs to be happening to solve this ill construction of belief that girls belong in the home and not the classroom? We need to have a lot of community dialogue. We need to chat it out, guys. We need to use platforms. We need to use forums. We need to use barazas. We need to use church meetings to have real conversations, hard-hitting conversations about why girls are being educated actually benefits everyone, okay? We need to see our role models in action, our Wangari Maathais, our Barack Obamas, Michelle Obamas, Barack Pole, the other one, the one with the ovaries, Michelle Obamas in Kenya, in Africa, in the world. We need to see them in action. We need to spotlight women from rural areas who have crushed it academically as well as professionally, and their stories inspire communities to think differently. Because I'm going to circle back to a story that we keep coming to time and time again, and this is a Miss Lupita Nyong'o story, our Hollywood superstar, the podcaster, the filmmaker, the producer. She's a well-rounded creative, well-rounded media practitioner, well-rounded thespian, and she talked about the importance of being at the forefront for girls like herself to see themselves and believe that they can get to the heights that she has achieved. Because when she received her Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, I believe it was in the year 2012? The year that the Oscars awarded 12 Years a Slave, she said that growing up, she did not see herself represented in media. So it means so much that young girls can actually be on the screen because they see themselves, because that dream is being envisioned because they are able to hold on to something, work up and climb towards something because they have an image, because representation is extremely, extremely important. And that just, again, affirms the fact that we need to see our role models in action. Another thing that needs to happen is that we need youth clubs. We need to be creating sherehe, because uku nje wase wanapiga sherehe mbaya, and I mean literally sherehe mbaya. Do you understand? Guys are partying hard, and it's hard. Things are not going well. It's not a good scene. It's not. The drunkenness that is amongst the youth in our country, particularly in the urban areas and in some ghettos, in some rural areas, it's not interesting. It's not interesting because we do not glorify alcoholism. I will never lie to you. I will never lie to you. We don't glorify alcoholism here on Sheversations, and a lot of what we see is not just drinking for pleasure. There's a difference between enjoying a drink or two with friends and the kind of alcoholism that is very rampant among our young generations and a whole bunch of boomers. It's a generational issue. So what we need to see in contrast is youth clubs that actually allow young people to have fun. You know, create fun spaces, inclusive spaces for young boys and girls to learn about gender equality and respect from a young age. And maybe we wouldn't have as much femicide. Definitely, we would not have as much femicide, or barely any femicide, because we would have started targeting this problem from the bud, from the roots, and basically curbing it. Okay. So what else gets in the way of girls being educated in rural areas in this country? What? Early and forced marriages. We need to say I don't to child marriages, because saying I do is for consenting adults. It is for mature adults who have a healthy understanding of what the commitment of marriage requires. And children cannot be held accountable to understand. They haven't been formed properly. They're not properly mature. I'm not saying that a young girl cannot be mature enough to hold her own in a marriage. I'm saying let's not test that theory, because more often than not, it's going to fail. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that in society. Girls are married off young, and this cuts off their education short. Again, from the first point where we don't understand that girls also belong in the classroom and not just in the home. Also now, when it comes to marriage, it's like, listen, go to school until we find you a husband. Hey, mimi mgenitaftia kitambo. Maybe I wouldn't be this tired. Lakini power to the people. We fought for independence, for women to work. Yeah. Already. Guys, that was a joke. The spaces are beautiful spaces, and how autonomous we are as women who have the choice to be able to labor is nice. It's something healthy. It's something that every woman should be allowed to choose. And when you allow a child to be forced, to be, manipulated into a marriage at that age, it is wickedness. Honestly, wickedness, right? What needs to happen is that we need to have strict enforcement of marriage laws. What we need to actually do is push local governments to crack down on the underage marriages with heavy penalties. Hey, that sounds so idealistic, because what happens when the government officials are ready to collect brown envelope payments? Do we actually trust that this enforcement would happen? Well, let's put it out there. We can only hope. We need safe spaces for girls. We need to set up rescue centers. We have featured a lot of just a few safe house representatives and people who are doing good work in the community before. We have talked about Shine a Light. We've talked about different places, different organizations that are working. Uko, Kibera, Kiamaiko, Githurai. We've hosted some of those individuals here on this show. But what we need to do is to continue setting up rescue centers as well as girls clubs where they can seek help as well as mentorship. because that's essentially what education would have cut them off from. And now we need to enter into rescue mode to understand that if this problem is not stopping and we can't avoid it altogether, then how do we save the girls who are actually in these situations already? Speaking of which, we do need to empower the community. We need to support parents with financial incentives to keep their daughters in school rather than paying them off. Please do not use your daughters as a paycheck. Okay? Repeat after me. I will not use my daughter as a paycheck. I know this sounds really privileged because a lot of these families that do this are not well off. Actually, and then there's interesting stories because let's just jump over to Nigeria. You guys might be familiar with a young actress called Regina Daniel. Regina Daniels, married to a very, very rich government official called Ned Nwoko. It is very interesting because this girl was married off technically at a very young age, 19. She is his, if not fourth, sixth wife. I think it's the fourth wife. If it's not the fourth, it's the sixth wife. So this man received this girl, and her mother was very eager. Regina Daniels, you see, has been and was already a successful and popular Nollywood actress. This is a typical case of child marriage. She looks okay and comfortable, but do you understand that just because a girl can hold her own as an older teenager does not mean that she is mature in her mind to hold the responsibilities of marriage? And it is so sad because her father spoke out and said that he does not support the matrimony of somebody older than him. So that's actually what happened, is that her husband is older than her father. He's in his 60s and the father is not that old. And when I came across this story, was it 2 or 3 years back, I was so frustrated and so disappointed. Because a lot of people said it's okay because he can afford her. And I asked myself, is she for sale? Does she understand what she's getting into? Or was her mother just influencing her? And because she was malleable, because she was easy to influence, she just went with it. Children should not be put in situations where they decide whether they want to be married or not. That's the reason why the age of consent is 18 and above in most countries and 21 for other situations in a lot of countries. There is a reason. It doesn't mean that at 14 years you can't make decisions at 16, at 17. It just means that the likelihood of you making the wrong decision is very high because you have not yet learned fully how to interpret situations for what they really are. You don't have enough experience in life. And just because the government has given you the go-ahead does not mean that you actually are okay. It doesn't mean that you can, because most people need their early 20s to figure out who they are. A lot of people discover who they are post-campus, in campus and right after campus. So that's between the ages of 18 and 25 for a lot of people. That's when they decide, oh, this is the kind of person I am. This is the kind of person I'm not. And that's how you find that girls 25 and they're about 24, 25, 26, then start feeling like they're ready for marriage if there's an older gentleman who is wooing them, because they have gone through those life experiences. So even though the age of consent is 18, it doesn't mean that you take this girl and take her out of her childhood, because what do 18-year-olds want to do? I have never met an 18-year-old who wants to be waiting for her husband to bring her food at the end of the day so she can cook. I don't know an 18-year-old who is eager to have children, one that is empowered and educated. Maybe they are there. I bet they exist. But I personally have never met an 18-year-old who just can't wait to have children that year, who just can't wait to clean and cook for their husband, go to work for their home. I'm yet to meet an 18-year-old who thinks that way. And if these people are not that way in spaces where young girls are able to express themselves, why do we take those choices away from the ones that are being married off? That's what I want to understand. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. What else is an issue to girls in rural areas being educated? Economic constraints. We need to make education affordable. The problem is that school is expensive and many families prioritize boys' education because the idea is that a boy is more profitable to the family because he will not go and become married off. He will keep the family's name. He will bring his wife or wives into the family, depending on what kind of a society you come from. And hence, he's bringing wealth and value into the family, as opposed to daughters who leave the family. So that's the rationale. We are commodifying our daughters. Let us tell ourselves, tuambiane ukweli. Let's be honest. Please, let's be honest. That is commodifying your children. Because if you think that the only value you will assign to your children based on their gender is who brings the most profit, basi si mweke ng'ombe. Wekeni ng'ombe na mbuzi, guys. That's what you want. Keep animals. Don't give birth to children and treat them like cattle. Do you know that in this transatlantic slave trade, the thing that made it so easy for white people to completely degrade Africans was the fact that they did not see them as full human beings? Go and read up on the chattel. What was it called? It's called chattel trade. The laws where chattels cattle, and they likened slaves, black bodies that they took from the coasts of West Africa, from Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and they saw them as chattel. They saw them as 75% of a human being, meaning that these people were not fully human. Hence, it is legal and correct and logical and okay to trade them, parade them on a platform, check their teeth the same way you would with a horse, check their arms to see if they're strong enough to carry all those things that they would assign them to do, check their bodies. The white masters, the master would try out the ladies, rape them over and over and over again. And that's how we have a whole new looking black generation of African Americans and blacks that actually have white lineage and white heritage in the Caribbean. It wasn't because watu walipendana. It's because human beings were being commodified. So if you think that you're better because your reason for commodifying your children, your daughters, is because of money, that was the exact same reason. That is why the black chiefs sold their people off. That is why the villages that would actually go and capture other villages to sell them off to the white slavers would do it. It's because of money. So if you feel like, no, we're just doing it for the survival of our family, that is the same reason that people, the descendants of our black ancestors, that's how black people, majority of them ended up all over the world. And see the systems that they're existing in. See the Black Lives Matter. How did this start? The commodification of human beings. Please don't commodify human beings. That is not okay. We are not a paycheck. Your daughters are not a paycheck. Already? Tell a friend to tell a friend. So economic constraints actually they cause families to prioritize boys' education. How can we combat this? Scholarship programs is one of the ways. We would need to expand government as well as NGO scholarships, specifically for rural girls. We would need zero fees for basic education. This means we advocate for free primary and secondary school education with a focus on rural areas. Okay? We need a school lunch program. We need to provide meals at schools to ease the economic burden on families and keep kids fed and in class. Because not being able to eat, you go home to look for lunch and you don't go back. That is a valid reason. 14-year-old, 12-year-old, 10-year-old. Hunger. If you're sitting somewhere being expected to learn and you're starving, you're not going to get the best output most times, more often than not. Okay? All right. So let's look at distance and accessibility. What does it look like to close the gap? Because there's a lot of distance-related struggles. Schools are far and the journey is unsafe. How many videos have you seen of children trying to cross dangerous rivers because the bridge has capsized? Eric Omondi constructed a bridge sometime, I can't remember where it is, but sometime last year, towards the end of last year, he constructed a bridge. He financed the construction of a bridge after a clip went viral on social media showing a young child crossing an overflowing river where there was a log. And there was such heavy currents. And honestly, just one slip and this child would have gone drowned. R.I.P. And now we're crying. Whitney Houston said, I believe the children are our future. Lead them well and let them lead the way. Treat them well. Make them well. Something. Yani, let's take care of our children and let them lead the way. Because children are the future. So if our children need to go over slippery logs with currents of water under them because we're not catering, this is the gap that we're talking about. A solution to this is how we can close the gap, is that we need more schools to be constructed. We need to bring classrooms closer to communities. We need to prioritize rural construction. More schools means that there is a school closer to you, as opposed to the one school that, supposed to cater to the whole village and the whole area. That's not working. Border transport partnerships is necessary. We need to create safe transport options for students through subsidies or school-arranged rides. Okay? So the same way that people carpool, we could do the same with border transport. We need to pay these people. We need to have subsidized agreements where it would be affordable, either organized by the schools in terms of how these border guys are being paid, or just having agreements where the borders charge particularly less charges for the students to get to school. We also need hostels for girls. We need to set up boarding facilities near schools to cut out the long, risky commutes. Let me be honest. This is a tentative solution, but I honestly do not believe in boarding school education on a very personal level. This is my very personal opinion as a first option. I understand that this is a solution to a very big problem and that would help, but I don't agree with separating children from their parents. I do not. If there is money to construct more schools, let's do that instead of constructing hostels. Because again, these girls should not be living by themselves. So if you're constructing hostels and not constructing schools, it means that you are literally leaving schools to live in camps by themselves. That's what happens in concentration camps, where you separate the men, the women, and the children. That's an oppressive system. Also, what happens in refugee camps, where there are no options. That's what Trump did to keep the Mexicans from going over the wall. Do you see these patterns where there is a good reason to separate parents from their children? So you as a family have crossed over from Mexico into the US. Your parents are deported and the children are left in America and sent elsewhere. They call them the Dreamers. This is a story that has trended for the past 2 years if you are keen on international news. It never serves any society to separate children from their parents. I do not advocate for boarding school education. I know that this is the way of life in our country. Does not mean that it is effective. Tumezoea. Anything that comes will have an advantage. Does not mean that it is ideal. Colonization brought us certain things. Does not mean that we enjoyed being colonized or that we should have in the first place. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need to do a cost-benefit analysis for some of these decisions that we make, some of the patterns that we have accepted because that is all we have known. And it's beautiful being in a space where we can have conversations. Why? because then we realize that it is important to unlearn. And when you unlearn, you see how possible it is to change your mind when you're informed. Information brings change. Enlightenment brings change. You start to see things differently when you have received information that allows you to view and assess. But when somebody has told you that this is the best system, yet this system time and time again has been proven to be toxic for the social fiber of the families and the family unit in this country, you need to question that. I question it a lot. I question it and I don't like it. I don't like it, so I don't advocate for that. However, that is an option. It is better to have kids there than have them at home not being educated, if that is a last resort. Not as a way of life, not as a standard. Okay? Alrighty. What else are we dealing with? What else keeps girls in rural areas from accessing education? Sexual violence and harassment. We need to create safe spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to create safe spaces. The issue is that the fear of assault keeps girls away from schools. Fun story time is that the truckers that go on Mombasa Road in Mlolongo often stop near primary schools where girls will literally run out of class, go and sexually service the grown-ups, the grown men in these trucks, and receive 50 bob that they can use for pads. Do you understand? The girl who's looking for 50 bob to buy pads now ends up pregnant. Even if these girls are choosing, a child cannot choose sex. A child has not reached the age of consent because once you're 18, you're no longer considered a child. It is sexual violence to keep children in situations where they feel they need to earn with their bodies. Okay? And so for a lot of girls who experience this in a way that shocks them, they don't want to be in school because it is a traumatizing experience, even if they might not know how to express what they have experienced. What we need to curb this is to have strict policies and reporting systems. Schools should have clear, confidential channels to report abuse that should be taken seriously and have action taken on them. We need to have a gender-based violence training. We need to equip teachers as well as school leaders with the know-how to handle and prevent these pressing issues. We also need to have a safe walk to school, which means we organize community watch groups to ensure safe passage for our students. I hope that we are all on the same page. This is a lot of heavy information because this is a heavy topic, and we are going to get into a little bit of music, and then we'll get right back and wrap it up before the end of my 2 hours with you guys. So what are we having? We are going to have Sema by Zaituni Wamboi and Ananipenda already.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
all the signs, but truly you're not mine. I can't figure you out, taking me round and round. One day we're flying, next thing we're crashing, head down with no alert. I cannot do this anymore. My feelings hurt, I want to know. Complete this once and for all. Not gonna need you.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Welcome back to Power Radio. We have 12 minutes left of this awesome conversation that we are having here with the aim to amplify female voices and tackle issues that are affecting our girls head on. If you're just joining us, or just in case you appreciate this recap, we have been talking about the different barriers that girls are facing with regards to their education, particularly girls in rural areas, and we have talked about several different things. We have talked about the different culture and societal norms. We have talked about forced marriages and early marriages. We've talked about the different economic constraints and what can be done about those things, as well as how we can close the gap with regards to the distance and the lack of accessibility that a lot of young girls are facing. We have also looked into sexual violence and harassment that causes a lot of young girls to stay away from schooling institutions because of the fear of undergoing that kind of abuse again. And right about now, we're going to look into what the lack of female teachers as well as role models, how that affects young girls in rural areas. We need to have women leading women. We don't have enough women in teaching roles to guide or to inspire girls. We've talked about representation. We've talked about Lupita Nyong'o and her speech on how important representation is and the kind of difference representation brings. And This means that we need to see a whole lot more female teacher recruitment. We need to offer incentives such as higher pay and housing for female teachers in rural areas. Because the girlies have got to be comfortable. We need to see mentorship programs where we can connect girls with successful women in various fields through school visits as well as online platforms. We also need teacher training scholarships. We need to fund programs for women to pursue teaching degrees, especially those from rural areas. What do you think about this? Do you think that increasing the amount of female teachers would solve this? I think it would. So something else, just a moment. Mnaniongelelea uko nje. Nawaona. But now you know I'm not a robot. I'm human. We need to look into the health issues as well as menstruation. We need to be ditching period shame, because why are we still shaming girls? What is the reason? Please, guys, stop talking about me. Stop it. Like, I know, mnanipenda, but just pause until the end of the show. Sindio, can we agree? Thank you. Thank you very much. Nivo sasa imeisha. Ditching period shame. It's 2025, and it's about time. Honestly, I want to talk about period shame less, but we might end up talking about it more. We need to see period poverty ending because it's a big problem. We have stigma that stops girls from attending school, because if you don't have menstrual products, you don't have the adequate menstrual care. Sasa unataka wasichana wafanye. We can solve this by having free sanitary products. If you find it important to give out condoms but not sanitary towels, please fix your perspective. Fix it instantly. Yani nimesema, don't even think about it, just do it. Yeah? We need to ensure the schools are stocked with pads as well as hygiene kits through government programs and NGO support. Okay? We have talked about period poverty plenty. We have talked. We've chopped this matter over and over again. Waiting. Gosh. Menstrual health education. We need to talk about menstrual health education. This goes hand in hand with sex education because, wow, reproductive rights, menstrual health education, sex education, it's all one and the same big ball of issues that if not dealt with, we are going to end up with what we're seeing out here. Young girls and boys need to be taught about periods. We need to teach these people to break the stigma as well as create supportive school environments. So if a young boy sees that a girl has stained herself, that's not shameful. It would be shameful for the girl depending on how people react. But that in itself is uncomfortable. But she doesn't need to be shamed and humiliated for something that is already uncomfortable for her. Okay? We have internalized hatred for girls, and it's disgusting. If you're a man who has a sister, a mother, a menstruating creature in your house, hopefully a human being, please be kind enough to learn what they need when they're on their period. And mind you, they might not want you to be in their business because they have been taught that this is hush-hush. It's a secret. Change the narrative. If the women in your household are not changing the narratives, as a man, go and find out which pads they use. Enda wanunulia a whole box. Find out, are they using tampons? Are they using a menstrual cup? Are they using a menstrual disc? Do you even know what that is? Yeah, YouTube. The same way you would research on Sijui, some of you people with Kama Sutra books, sex styles, karibu mkwe pornography stars. Go and research on the kind of period products that ladies use. When do ladies use panty liners? What kind of underwear? Why are we afraid of sneezing on our periods? What's going on? Our backs, carrying the world on our backs during our periods. What's going on with our boobs on our periods? Please don't only be interested in women's bodies when you are consuming, all right? Tusha kubaliana? I love it. That's beautiful. We also need sanitation facilities. We need to build separate and clean toilets for girls in every rural school. First of all, a toilet that does not have adequate sanitary bins is sad, because why would I enter a bathroom na haina a sanitary nini and I need to change my sanitary towel or tampon or whatever? Why? But that happens. So much of the time. Really sad and really frustrating. One other thing we need to be doing, last but not least, an issue that we have is that we have inadequate infrastructure as well as learning materials. We need to boost the basics. We need to be looking into the beginning, the start of things. Do we have a foundation when it comes to what are we providing to these girls in these rural spaces that is contributing or, just making this problem dire? We have overcrowded classrooms, we have outdated textbooks and poor facilities. And of course, this is not affecting just girls. This is affecting all children, okay? Our solution is to have government investment. Hey, serikali's idea. Serikal. Guys, sirs, madams, tumechoka. How long will we sing this song? Aki mmekula. Si mmetosheka, guys. Imagine nobody's taking away your big cars. Gava, we need to push for increased funding for rural education infrastructure. Please. Let those be the reasons mnapigana uko parliament. See, not who madam who has insulted who from which party. Hizo maneno inakuanga embarrassing. And as a grown man with beards and testicles, woman with breasts and ovaries, mnapigania vitu zenye hazina maana. Please, let's do better. Our honorables, let us have better reasons to look up to you. Sindio, our young girls need to be catered for. Thank you. We need to have public-private partnerships. We need to engage companies to sponsor classroom renovations and computer labs as well as books. Hey, computer literacy, guys. Where? Unaona wase wanafika kampo, they've never interacted with a computer before. In Kenya, one of the most technologically advanced country in Africa. That is a sad situation. We need digital education tools, and this looks like rolling out affordable tablets as well as e-learning resources to make up for a lack of physical materials. You know how much all these things cost? Because tablets, guys, kwani tuko America. And do you understand how impoverished our systems are? That this don't sound like sustainable solutions, because where is the money gonna come from? If we care about our future, we would invest in the education budget. Do you understand? So can we stop serenading Kapaks, waheshimiwa, women reps, MCAs and MPs? Can we please stop putting like your opening, you're doing an opening ceremony for a kapak yenye imemikiwa na mbao za ushago and mabati zimerust and then you've painted them blue. Alafu umeita kama upale wa kona akuje a paint honorable so and so. Na hizo mavitu zenye mmewekea the shades. Guys, imagine that's embarrassing. Sisemi msifanye hizo vitu, but it's embarrassing if that is what you're priding yourselves with. Sometimes I'm humiliated because of what our leaders are doing, but because you're doing better, thank you in advance. Thank you in advance. Thank you in advance. Already, you can volunteer your time. You can donate. You can speak up. You can start a local initiative. You can support local schools. Those are the different things that we are going to continue talking about with regards to empowering young girls in rural areas, with regards to championing them being educated. Do you understand? And I hope tutashinda tukiongelelea hii maneno, sindio? Let's educate our girls. You educate a girl, you educate the nation. We are going to sing this song. We are going to sing it. We are going to know this song like the ABCs. Anything yenye inahusu wa mama is our sole responsibility already. So this 2 hours, we have wrapped it up. Let me know on our socials how you're feeling about today's show, how you're feeling about all the things. If you've been affected by him and ya girls in rural areas, ama we unaona tuacha, like let's stop stressing each other. Unaona aje. But because sai mi hakuna kitu naona tu masaa imeisha, let's listen to one more jam by Zaituni, and she is joined by DJ Wemoto and Miss Waithaka, and she says Echoes. So this is Echoes extended already. The time is exactly 1, and I'm gonna be seeing you guys on a lovely Friday. So have a happy 1/2 this week. Happy 1/2 Wednesday. Already from me to you. I'm gonna see you guys on Friday. My name is Caroline Murote, and I love you. Bye-bye.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio. From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.